Gems of 3 I ask of thee to fetch, collect, and bring to me. In water shall you find the first, though not the type to quench your thirst. Spy the second, high in the sky, with wings or no, thou still must fly. Through swampy mire, so it is heard, in lone dark castle lies the third. Should you succeed, my noble king, to your fair maiden I will bring. I warn you though, you should beware, a danger cloaked awaits you there.
Okay, so here we are back again, and we are underneath, I don't know how much time we have, so I'm gonna pause it. We're underneath the shop, the little antique shop, and we had just given her the nightingale, and it seems she wants to use the nightingale for a potion, a youth potion. So we just read this letter on the table in the last video, so we're gonna now go over here and get the one thing that we need.
As you pick up the carpet, you notice a small label which reads, Property of Al Din. There might be a faded letter or two in there, but you cannot be sure. Above you, from the back room, you discern Angelina's voice.
I did it! I did it! The youth potion is finally finished. All I need to do now is drink it.
Angelina, show yourself, you scurvy wench.
Agatha? My dear! What an unexpected surprise!
Don't you play the fool with me. I know you stole it.
Stole? Really, I do not know.
Silence. For your lies and deceit, there can be only one consequence.
No, please. I can explain.
I said silence. Oh, and one more thing. Your invitation to join us is revoked. What is this? Ah, the youth potion at last. Oh no. Drat. Now what was that spell for removing floorboards? Curses. I shall have to go back and look it up.
Now, I know we have only a limited amount of time right now, so I'm gonna get this done quick.
There is a soft pile of down and dust. You fish around in the pile of down and successfully retrieve the youth potion.
We're gonna need that later.
Cautiously, you open the trapdoor ever so slightly and peer into the room above. Agatha is nowhere to be seen. You make your exit from the basement.
Okay.
You flick the latch. The trapdoor closes and conceals itself into the floorboards once more.
I don't think you have to do that, but I do it anyways. Okay, we're coming back down here. We need some room. I don't know if you can do it there, but you gotta do it somewhere where there's a lot more room to fly. Can you only get a certain amount of chances with the magic carpet, so I'm gonna save. Okay. Just in case.
You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you ascend higher, you realize that the carpet is beyond your control. It glides through the air on a seemingly predetermined course.
Might have some good news coming up in the future, but for right now I just want to not say anything too much just yet, but yeah, there might be some good news coming up.
A snake blocks your path to the east. It appears to be about 10 feet long and is coiled up, ready to strike.
Okay, so we can maybe charm the snake?
You dangle the shimmering opal in front of the snake. It soon falls hypnotized in typical snake fashion.
Okay, we want to go quickly because that's my temporary. Past the snake. And let's click on this little hole here.
You reach into the cavity and feel around. What is this? You've discovered a button hidden inside the rock. You press it and wait to see what happens next. In an instant, a man stands beside you. He appears to be somewhat of an adventurer, much like yourself.
Greetings. I am King Graham of Daventry.
The newcomer nods in greeting. Without a word, he respectfully appraises you. You notice about him the manner of one who has only recently learnt the meaning of heroism.
From where do you hail, good sir?
The man opens his mouth to answer, but then pauses to consider that question. Evidently deciding that irrelevant exposition would serve neither party, he casually gestures to the hole in the rock behind you.
Might I inquire something of your identity?
After a brief search of his own person, the man pulls out a scroll card and hands it to you. You unroll it, and it reads, "Having fulfilled the requirements in accordance with the statutes of the famous Adventurers Correspondence School, the bearer is a qualified would-be hero." The man also shows you a medallion. Upon it are the words, "Hero of Spielberg." You reverently return the scroll to the man.
You don't say much, do you?
With a sigh of resignation, the man shakes his head silently.
Surely you might speak to me of your adventures.
The man becomes quite enthused about the prospect of relating his most recent adventure to you. Just as he is about to speak, however, you notice something on the ground that the man must have dropped. You retrieve the paper. It appears to be a scroll. Upon it is some writing. Disclaimer: you have just witnessed a rather shameless plug for the remake of Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire by the entities of AGD Interactive. Available now. As you read the writing, the words are ingrained in your mind. The scroll disappears.
Okay, so I'm also gonna say that Quest for Glory 2 by these same people is also a really good game if you guys are interested in getting a game. It is the second game of the Quest for Glory series, so if you guys enjoy that, you can also play Quest for Glory, like the entire series, and you can actually bring your character from each game over, so it keeps the same stats and everything. So I've always, actually, Heroes Quest 1 was the very first game I ever played that I remember playing. And I was like 2 years old when I played it, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but obviously it still has a lot of memory to me. Okay. I'm gonna save here because this can be a little dangerous, so we'll save now. Okay. Let's go over here.
You flip through the book entitled Ye Old Book of Enchantments, Causes and Cures. The first half contains a list of enchantments. These do not interest you, as you have no desire to inflict inconvenience upon others. However, the Cures section does capture your curiosity. While browsing, you spy a promising paragraph.
Okay, let's see if I can read this without too much problem. While casting enchantments upon others may provide you with many daily hours of fun, do not ignore the danger that a miscast spell may have upon your own person. For this reason, you should prepare a simple item which you can protect yourself against the effects of an enchantment, as well as providing a means for reversing said spell, should it be deemed necessary. Only the power of the emerald can properly dispel an enchantment, and thus the steps to create one are as follows. Firstly, heat a blue mineral and yellow vegetable. A plant is an acceptable alternative together until they coagulate into a greenish liquid. Stir the mixture with a white feather. Drop into this a perfectly clear crystal and recite. Heed these words: crystal perfect, green is thy hue, restore, correct, guard well my form, preserve, protect. You will now have the means to safeguard yourself should your enchantments ever get out of hand. To restore that which is under the effect of an enchantment, simply allow a strong light to pass through your emerald at the subject. Then behold the restoration. Okay.
You approach the workbench for a closer look.
Okay, so you can read it again if you need to, but I shouldn't need to. So we need a blue mineral. Should be something like this.
You toss the earrings into the beaker.
You can actually use that or the brooch. And you also need a yellow vegetable or plant, which is the flower.
You toss the sickly yellow flower into the beaker.
Okay, then we need to light.
You strike the blade of your sword against the flint stone. It sparks, and the wick catches alight. You watch, fascinated, as the two unlikely objects melt under the heat of the magical flame.
Okay, so then we stir it with a feather.
You stir the mixture carefully with a white feather. It soon dissolves in the hot liquid.
And then we gotta take a crystal off the sword. Does it say anything about the swords?
This is the sword of the first king of Daventry. It dates back almost 1,000 years and has been passed down from king to king since that time. Try not to damage it. A magnificent clear crystal is embedded within its hilt.
Try not to damage it. That's exactly what we're about to do.
You managed to dislodge the crystal that had been set within the hilt of the sword almost a millennium ago. You feel a tinge of guilt and wonder what all the past monarchs of Daventry would say if they saw you damaging ancient crown property.
Okay, I think we throw this in here now.
You drop the crystal in and watch, amazed, as the green liquid slowly seeps into it.
And then we talk to it.
Heed now these words. Crystal, perfect. Green is thy hue. Restore, correct. Guard well my form. Preserve, protect.
You recite the words correctly, line for line, and sure enough, only a brilliant emerald remains in the glass beaker. You quickly blow the flame out so as not to overheat the emerald and cause damage to it.
Okay.
Picking it up gingerly, you're amazed that the emerald took virtually no time at all to cool.
Okay. So now we can hang out in here. Before we shouldn't, we shouldn't because, well, I don't want to spoil it. We'll see shortly, but let's look around a bit.
A collection of books are stacked side by side on a nearby shelf. Most of the titles are written in a mysterious language that you don't understand, so you suspect that they are about magic. You notice that some writing has been engraved into the wall. You read the inscription. The engraving on the wall reads, "In row of stones that number 6, half and a pair from left do pick. Quell then my spell, avoid the tricks."
Okay, so we can kind of,
This long staff looks magical in nature. The cave is adorned with the most beautiful coverings you've ever seen. The material sparkles in the light from outside the cave. There's almost something unreal about this brilliant decor.
I actually didn't know about this part that we're waiting for until just recently, which is kind of cool.
You hear footsteps approaching. Uh-oh, the enchanter has caught you in his lair. He twirls his hands, aims them at you, and then utters some words under his breath. You feel a tingling sensation all over your body as the enchantment attempts to transform you into whatever the enchanter has fancied. At the same time, you also feel the comforting energy of the emerald shielding you. The enchanter's twisted smile turns downwards. He scowls at you. There is a look of panic on the man's face. He does not dare breathe.
I hereby order you to depart from Kalima forever, never to trouble its citizens again, lest you earn the fullness of my wrath.
The enchanter looks baffled. You sigh inwardly and try again.
Leave. If you come back, then you will get it.
The enchanter nods frantically, as much as he can without cutting his own neck on your sword edge. He gestures quickly with his hands.
Ah, strange. The writing is the only thing that seems to appear here still. So yeah, if you didn't have the emerald, you would die at that point, but since we have the emerald, we're good. Okay, so this snake here is also under a magical spell. So let's put the emerald over top of the snake.
As you direct the sun's light through the emerald at the snake, you behold a wondrous transformation. Before you now stands a magnificent winged horse.
Thank you for freeing me. A horrid enchanter transformed me into that legless thing after I refused to be his steed.
Okay, let's talk to him a little bit.
That was quite a gamble, to refuse an enchanter.
True, but I could not have accepted, even if I had wanted to. For I am a disciple of the cloud, and can serve no land dweller.
Disciple of the cloud? What does that mean?
First, tell me of what you seek up here.
You take a deep breath, then explain about the Door of Destiny, the gems of nature, and your present quest to locate the growth gem.
So, you seek the air gem?
Yes, that is right. You know of it?
Most certainly. But you will not be able to reach it by any means available to you or any of your kind. I would gladly take you to it, but alas, the enchanter took and hid from me my bridle. Without it, we could search for 1,000 years and still never find the cloud spirit.
Where did he hide your bridle?
I do not know. Perhaps a clue may be found in that blackguard's abode behind me.
So that was the writing on the wall that we found, but we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's see if we can talk to him some more.
What is this spirit you speak of?
The essence of what you seek. It passes through us as we grow, all through our lives, though few are ever aware of it. You will know soon enough when I take you to it.
Why do you choose to serve this cloud spirit?
It is my destiny, and I must fulfill it, just as you must fulfill yours.
I was not aware that I had one.
All of us have a destiny. Some are predestined, others are determined by choice. I believe yours to be of the latter.
You don't have anything else to say to the steed.
Okay, so we'll head back over here. And we're going to use the magic carpet and get back down to the ground.
You can't use that there. You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet rises into the air again. The carpet begins to descend.
Now we only have one more time we can use the carpet. Okay, hopefully it's not going too bad. It seems like it's not too heavy. But now we don't have to worry about the enchanter over here, so that's much better. So we have rocks that are in a row of 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So half and a pair from left do pick. So half would be 3, and then a pair would be 1, 2, meaning we should pick this one here. So we're going to use this stone here, and we're going to put it over top of this stone. We'll use the emerald and put it over top of this stone, and we'll see what happens.
You bend over and hold the emerald above the stone so that the sun's light channels through it. Incredible! The rock has transformed into a silver-studded bridle.
Perfect.
You take the bridle.
Okay, so now we can go back up into the sky again.
You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you reach down to get the carpet, it vanishes into thin air without even so much as a puff of smoke.
So yeah, if you went down there for some reason and just came back up here to see what was going on, you lost your chance of doing this. Or if you went down before getting that information, you had to come back up here, you'd have to restart or restore the game to something before being up here or before using the carpet all the time. Okay, so now we have the bridle. We can give it to the horse.
You slip the bridle over the horse's head. It whinnies its approval.
Come, climb upon my back.
Okay, so I'm going to actually mute my voice for this next little bit. When the whole sort of cloud spirit thing is over, then I'll come back on, but I think that's also when we're going to end the video.
Hold on. This will be a little accelerating.
The disciple of the cloud gracefully soars high into the sky. You grip the reins tightly and hold on for dear life as he swoops and dips between the clouds. After a time, he draws near to a thick patch of luminous mist. As you pass through it, the horse sets itself down, seemingly on top of a cloud.
It is all right. You can dismount now.
Believing that you have finally lost all sense of reason, you dismount and prepare for a very long drop. And find yourself standing on a cloud.
How is it possible that I can stand upon thin air?
Such are not the questions you should be asking. You have come for the Air Gem, or the Growth Gem, as it was once named by the ancients. It has not been termed thus without reason, for one who would have the gem as his own must prove himself grown and thus worthy of it.
Meaning, no disrespect.
Cloud Spirit.
Thank you. You must agree, Cloud Spirit, that I am a man fully grown, thus fulfilling your prerequisite.
A howling wind deafens you momentarily, though you feel nothing on your skin. The cloud spirit speaks again, a little more forcefully.
It is not enough that you have grown in body. That much is evident. It must be proven that you have also grown in both mind and soul. So on these shall you be tested.
Tested?
Those who bear the burden of king are expected to possess certain qualities. Your actions will be judged against the weight of these. It shall be seen whether you are deserving of your title. It shall be seen whether you are worthy of the Growth Gem.
After a moment of silence, the cloud spirit intones,
Behold your first test.
The mist around you clears, and you find yourself in a familiar place. This is Daventry, and furthermore, you are a child again. A slight dizziness overwhelms you for an instant. How strange, you no longer recall anything past this moment in time. It is as if this is happening again for the first time. Even stranger, you are still vaguely aware that you are undergoing a test of some kind, though for what purpose you cannot fathom. But look, it is Malvolio, your best friend. The two of you are deeply engrossed in a game of bat and ball.
Ouch!
Uh-oh! That sounds like the king now! What do we do?
You there.
Yes?
Yes? Is that how you address your liege?
No, your majesty, King Edward, sir. I mean, sire.
Which of you two boys threw that ball? The one that just happened to land on my head?
You summon all your courage and speak up.
Your Majesty, if you please, it was I who hit the ball over the castle wall. It was my fault completely. Please do not punish my friend.
The king eyes you carefully. You wonder if you are now in serious trouble.
I would not punish one for something so trivial. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere, away from here.
Yes, sire.
One more thing, my young fellow. You have demonstrated good character today by taking the blame for your friend. The finest knights in this realm demonstrate their compassion by protecting others, even if that should mean putting themselves at risk. I find that to be a rare quality in the many I meet. When you have grown up, I hope to see you again, perhaps in my service.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Behold your second test.
You feel yourself growing older, more so than before the tests began. Again, dizziness overcomes you. Your memory of the previous test fades, and in its place, your mind is filled with the knowledge of everything that has since come to pass. This includes, unfortunately, the dreadful misfortunes which have plagued Daventry since the coming of the terrible three-headed dragon. To make things worse, your 17-year-old daughter has been demanded as its latest sacrifice. In return, it will not harm the rest of the population until the next demand. You would go forth to destroy the dragon yourself, but you no longer have the heart for such quests. Never have you felt so forlorn, so frail. You fear that given the choice, you would do anything to rectify the situation.
A charming view. No wonder you come here so often.
You. I will see you hanged for this intrusion. Guards! Guards!
Calling them will do you no good. For even if they come, they will find their king speaking to only the air he breathes.
A pox on thee! Who are you?
My name, my true name, has been heard by none for nigh on a millennium. It is enough that you know me as the Father.
Then say what you have come to say and be gone.
You never were one for small talk.
You cursed my family. As a result, that dragon is now loose upon the land, and one of my children was kidnapped.
Now that is not quite the truth.
Do you deny your involvement?
Not at all. It is just that you have omitted so much.
Speak, and be gone.
Very well. I want your crown.
You cannot believe what you have just heard. This vile creature has caused untold misery throughout your land for nearly 18 years and has now infiltrated your castle just to ask that you hand over your authority to him? Of all the outrageous...
Is that what this is all about? You want to rule Daventry?
What would I want with a puny little kingdom when in a few short years I will have more power than Legitimor himself? No, I want only the thing you wear atop your head. Your crown. It is an essential part of my plan. Without it, my efforts to prepare for the ascension will have been in vain. I have waited far too long to be deterred from it now.
If you need it that badly, you could have just taken it. You had plenty of opportunities.
Are you completely ignorant of the legends of your predecessors? None can possess the crown of the first king unless it's given.
If you think for one moment that I would...
Before you speak further, consider this. In exchange for what I ask, I shall lift my curse and all that it entails from you and your blighted land. You shall have both it and your family restored in full. Minus your title, naturally.
Your mind reels at these words. For almost 2 decades, a countless number of innocent people have suffered under the afflictions Daventry has had to endure. So many more people would continue to suffer indefinitely, notwithstanding the pain you feel over your own family's misfortune. With a simple statement, You could put an end to it all.
To give you my crown would signify a change of leadership, so says the law of this land. It also says that the crown is to be worn only by those with the highest regard and intent for Daventry. So, to give it to such a vile being as you would betray the honor and memory of all the past kings who have worn it. No, I will not do it.
Not even for the sake of your family?
There are some principles for which even one's family must be sacrificed.
The man appraises you as a scientist would a unique specimen.
What an intriguing set of morals you have, King Graham. I almost look forward to the time when you will put aside your obligations here and seek me out. I have foreseen that we shall meet again.
Behold your third test.
Once again, you feel yourself age. You are many years older now, though still, thankfully, King of Daventry. As before, the knowledge of the previous test ebbs from your mind. This time, however, it is filled with a greater knowledge of all that has come to pass thus far. Many years have passed. Your children, once heirs to your throne, have forged their own paths in other kingdoms. Fortunately, chance has seen fit to fill the vacuum. Following the restoration of the Mask of Eternity, Daventry now has a new champion.
How do you feel?
I am deeply honored, sire.
All right. Now, how do you really feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
You smile and feel the lines in your face stretch. You hope you'll get used to it when the true time comes.
You know what they've been saying. About my decision, that is.
The people question my ability to perform the duties when I have another higher obligation. I believe that I can attend to both with the utmost equity.
You do not deny that this obligation may arise at any moment, perhaps taking you away from this country at a time of great need?
Of course not, sire, but I shall deal with that troll, as they say, when I cross that bridge.
And there is the matter of you not being of royal birth. That does not sit comfortably with some of the nobles.
The qualities of truth, light, and order can shine from even the most impoverished of souls. Nobility is defined through one's actions, not one's lineage, Your Majesty.
You cannot help but smirk. For a man who had once lived as a peasant, he speaks extremely well.
Kneel. Your sword. By virtue of your bravery, loyalty, and good conscience, I have chosen you to be my first knight. Thus you are my successor and heir to this throne. Arise, Sir Connor of Daventry.
In an instant, you find yourself standing before the Cloud Spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
You have demonstrated your sound understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. Growth continues unabated throughout the lives of all living things. You have grown much, learnt a great deal, and will continue to grow in all ways. You are judged worthy of the Heir and Growth Gem.
You take the Growth Gem. As you feel the knowledge of the last test fade from your mind, the cloud beneath your feet begins to evaporate. You'd better get out of here quickly, Graham. Finally, your flight comes to an end. You hope that it will be quite a while before you take to the air again.
Where would you like me to land?
On the ground would be fine.
Take this sugar cube. It will protect against the poisonous growth of this land. Fare thee well.
You notice you have lost a few things during your descent, mostly all that paper you were carrying. You are not concerned, though, as long as you don't get into trouble for littering. As dusk sets in and the pallid moon rises above the darkened horizon, you recall the Door of Destiny's words regarding the third gem, through swampy mire, in lone dark castle. Then you remember the great Neptune's disquiet reluctance to speak of Kalima's lord. You sense a growing unease that this final gem may not be the easiest to acquire.